We interrupt this program for a special trigger warning because I'm recording this after we talked about this story.
Mm-hmm.
This episode has very detailed descriptions of violence. So,
Murder.
guts.
Guts.
A murder most foul.
Brains.
So, Caleb, don't say it now during the trigger warning. That's like not the point.
Sorry, you're right.
Of the trigger warning. That being said, this is not an episode for kiddos. You've been warned. Love you, bye.
This is the Big Bad Boot.
We're siblings who explore spooky and scary stories, urban legends, tall tales, and true crime, all located in this crazy state that's shaped like a boot. A podcast about the weird state you wish you were from.
Hosted by the weird siblings you wish you had.
Have you ever looked at someone's head and thought, that noggin would look a whole lot better with a custom hat on it? I have. Or maybe you're looking in the mirror and thinking, I would be the talk of the town if I just had a custom hat on top of my dome. Well, Three Magnolias is here to make your wildest hat dreams come true.
Nice.
Imagine this. You're at a party, maybe a birthday, a tailgate, or even a bachelorette extravaganza. I've been to a couple of those. Suddenly, Three Magnolias rolls in with their traveling custom hat bar, and the crowd goes wild. They set up shop anywhere in Louisiana and most of Mississippi, bringing all the hat styling accessories you could ever want. They'll size you up. I've got a big noggin, so mine would be very large. They let you choose from a variety of styles and colors and help you create a one-of-a-kind hat that reflects your personality. Whether you want them to match a specific outfit or just make you stand out in the crowd, they've got you covered. But wait, there's more.
Ooh.
Three Magnolias even offers on-site branding, so you can represent your business or personalize your hat with initials. That's cool.
Mm.
Plus, the host of the party gets a special discount on their hat, because why should only the guests have all the fun? If you can't make it to the party, no problem. You can still get in on that hat action, that sweet, sweet hat action with their virtual hat bar. It's like online shopping, but with a hat on top of it. So if you're ready to take your hat game to the next level, follow Three Magnolias on Instagram and Facebook. Just search Three Magnolias & Co. and shoot them a DM to book your party or place a custom order. Just search Three Magnolias, shoot them a DM to book your party or place a custom order. Three Magnolias & Co. Hat Company. Turning heads one hat at a time.
Yeah,
Sweet.
Yeah.
He gave us the thumbs up. Welcome to the Big Bad Boot. I'm Katie.
And I'm not.
He never is. And this is a podcast about the weird state you wish you were from.
Hosted by the weird siblings you wish you had.
Yeah. What else have I been watching lately? I have been watching The Penguin.
Okay.
It is
I have not started that.
very good.
Just because I watch a lot of TLC Go and they loop the same penguin commercial over and over and over.
You're
and I'm just
annoyed
over
by it.
Yeah.
Let me convince you, because I don't really love superhero stuff. I feel like it's so cheesy and played out.
Okay.
This is not like that. Like, so far, Batman is not in it at all. Like, it's not a
The Penguin is about a superhero?
Caleb, the Penguin is from the Batman universe.
I thought he was like a gangster.
He is. But he is a villain from the Batman universe. Like, in the 90s Batman, it was played by Danny DeVito.
Nice.
And he literally looked like a physical penguin. But this one,
I did not know that.
it is played by Colin Farrell, who it looks so not like Colin Farrell.
I know.
It is uncanny.
It is weird. It's weird.
It's like The Godfather.
Okay, I might could get into that.
Like,
I've never been a superhero
It's not like
person.
It's not like that at all. I don't think they've mentioned Batman once.
Okay.
It's like him doing like the drug trade in Gotham and like trying to take over a crime family. Like, it is so good. It's very hard for Michael and I to find a show that we both love, because like half the time one of us is just watching the show, just tolerating the show because the other one loves it.
Yes.
And we have not agreed on a show this much since Stranger Things.
Oh, love Stranger Things.
Like,
love.
It's very good. I don't want to speak too soon, but we're on episode 4 now, and Batman's not been mentioned once.
I could get into that. I might try that.
Very good.
I might try that.
Colin Farrell, if you're listening.
Oh. Send us your money, please.
It is so good. And like, I know you're not supposed to like the villains, but I like them. I always identify with the villains in every show I watch.
I'll give it a try. I'll watch that tonight whilst I eat my chili.
I should have
No, I
asked you
can't
to.
stop thinking about chili,
He's talked
man.
about chili thrice since we've gotten here tonight.
I am so hungry right
Well,
now.
let me get
I could
started.
eat this drywall.
I could eat the inside of a birdhouse.
You don't stick your tongue in a bird. I love him though.
Theo Von.
Theo Von, if you're listening.
Oh my God.
Would that not be crazy?
There are very few men on this earth I would leave my husband for. Jack Black.
Theo Von?
Theo Von. Theo Von is a genius.
Theo
Von
really
is a genius.
Funny. I think he's from Covington.
He's from Covington.
Yeah. He went to Covington High or something like that.
Oh, everybody, welcome to the show, Jonah, our producer Jonah.
Oh, yeah.
Getting mic'd up for the very first time on the pod.
Just for some commentary, you know?
Yeah.
I like it.
Just a third world view here.
I like it.
Know?
I do too.
It adds another element. Have y'all ever listened to I've Had It?
No.
Okay. Go listen to that. It's pretty
Okay.
funny, but it's just two middle-aged white women talking like, I've had it with blah, 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 but they always like pan out to their producer for 2 seconds. And they're like, okay, I think her name is Melanie.
We talk to Jonah half the time anyway, so it's about time we mic'd him up.
That's
I say
true.
He mic'd up himself. We did none of this.
Yeah, we do nothing.
Well, let's get into it.
Okay,
Peeps.
cheers.
Cheers. Well, the episode Caleb just recorded that hopefully you've already listened to if you're listening to this episode had to do with murders by an axe.
Yes.
Mine
the
does
Axe
too,
Man.
which
Okay.
is crazy because we did not do that on purpose.
I'm ready.
Very excited.
I'm excited. I'm pumped.
All right. From 1910 to 1912, something really strange was going on in America. There was a sudden spike in axe murders all over the country.
Damn, I would have
Like a statistical anomaly.
I would have guessed Ebola
Or yellow
or
fever.
famine.
What, the Dust Bowl. When was the Dust Bowl? I don't know.
I have no idea.
But for 2 years, towns like Colorado Springs, Paola, Kansas, Villisca, Iowa found themselves at the center of some gruesome murder investigations. And there were so many times where people would peek through windows or break down doors because they hadn't heard from their family in a while, and they would discover entire families had been murdered with an axe in a 2-year period all over the country.
Aicha.
But many of these murders were linked to mysterious figures that we're familiar with. Of course, the first is one you have covered already, the Axeman from New Orleans. I feel like if you're from Louisiana, you're familiar with that.
Yeah.
Another figure that a lot of people are familiar with is the infamous Man from the Train, which if you've never heard, I wish this was a Louisiana story.
I've never heard of that.
So this is a serial killer that was brought to life in a 2017 true crime book, which was written by Bill James and his daughter, Rachel McCarthy James.
Oh, that's sweet.
And they claim to have discovered the identity of a previously overlooked serial killer during this time who they said would ride the railroads and murder people
because
with
of the
an
book?
axe. Well, they wrote a book about it.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying because of the book.
Oh, no,
they
no.
solved the murder. And I was like Patton Oswalt's wife? Like,
they wrote a book positing that they think they figured out who did these murders a century ago.
that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So a lot of famous axe murders people kind of already know about, except for this one.
Okay.
I did not even know about this person.
Aging is a fact of life, but looking your age is not. At 22 Aesthetics, they understand the art of enhancing natural beauty and the importance of self-confidence. To combat those fine lines and wrinkles, they offer, girl,
How
you put something like that in an ad read that I got to do, and you think you have the audacity to think I can pronounce that? Examion?
It's Xeomin, Xeomin. I should have asked how to pronounce it before, and I'm sorry.
gosh.
They offer something really fancy for your skin. That's
Yes.
spelled Xeomin.
Whatever it is, it's double filtered, purified, and it's an injectable. And it has great results. Come on down and get your Xeomin. I hate myself.
Sounds expensive.
And to restore lost volume in your face and lips, they offer dermal filler, which can smooth, lift, contour, firm, and enhance your features. Wow.
I need all of that.
Me too. Check out our before and after photos on Facebook and Instagram at 20.2.aesthetics. Remember, wrinkles don't go away by chance. They go away with appointments. And they can't wait to see you at 22 Aesthetics, located at 27455 on Highway 22 in Beatico. Give them a call, 985-201-3855.
This episode is brought to you by the fine folks at Revival Art House. Life is short. Buy the art. Discover the magic of local art at Revival Art House in Ponchatoula, Louisiana. Step into the vibrant purple building and explore a diverse collection of art from over 250 local artists in a 5,000 square foot space. Don't miss this opportunity to bring a piece of local magic into your home, which I have several pieces from Revival Art House.
Yep, so do Mom and Dad.
In my house. My favorite being a sketch of Pontchartrain Beach that was done by Dana Bro. It is currently framed and hanging in my living room.
Aww.
Thanks, Dana. Visit revivalarthouse.com or search Revival Art House on Instagram and Facebook and stop by and shop today. Thank you to the art angels at Revival Art House.
Love you guys. Okay.
There were tragic murders of several black families in southwest Louisiana out in Cajun country during a 2-year span where entire families met their fates at the business end of an axe. Okay.
Damn.
And many people believe that one teenage girl was responsible for it all.
What?
This is the story of Clementine Barnabet. Have you ever heard of Clementine Barnabet?
Okay, I have.
Okay.
The only reason I have is because I have one of those murder coloring books, and she was one of the people in it.
Really?
Yep.
Jonah, have you ever heard of Clementine
That's
Barnabet?
a wild thing to have a murder.
We both got one
Oh,
for
yeah.
Christmas. If
You've never seen those?
No.
Oh, they're awesome. I colored one the other day.
We did them during
Eileen
COVID.
Warnos.
Yeah, I have
You
one.
guys are so weird.
I love it.
I remember I did one during COVID, and I mailed them to each one to all my friends. Like, I know I mailed one to Lacey Tremonti, Mathern now, Megan Berner. Like, I know I mailed them to Allison Ecker. I know I mailed them during COVID.
Sweet Angel Allison.
Yeah.
That sweet angel baby did not
She
deserve
got the
a
giggling
murder.
granny in the mail.
I have never heard of Clementine
Barnabet.
Barnabet, no.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't ring a
That
bell.
sounds very
I love the
like
name
Louisiana.
Clementine.
I was thinking of Barnabet. That sounds like a super French name.
This story's cray cray. So
Get
before
into
we
it.
dive in, I want to point out that this story has some holes. The records we have are very spotty because, again, it was in the 1910s.
Okay.
And a lot of it is marred by racial bias.
I was about to say, because if you harken back to one of our old episodes on Julia Brown,
Mm-hmm.
records were so bad, especially if you were a person of color back
Correct.
then.
That
It
they
was rough.
didn't. Yeah, you're lucky if you had any kind of historical record on you.
Right.
Some victims' names are missing or wrong. Like, it's crazy. Clementine's own story changed a whole bunch of times, which is not surprising because even if she did do these murders or she was innocent, she was a young black girl who, looking back, a lot of professionals think she was mentally ill.
Oh.
And she was also caught up in a very biased and racist justice
Mhm.
system. This story has everything. Voodoo, church cults,
Yes.
and a figure who has disappeared from the public eye.
I am into it.
I love this one. Might be my favorite one besides Bonnie and Clyde that I've ever done.
Okay, I'm excited.
So this whole tangled web of murder and myth hasn't yet found a dedicated historian to set the record straight.
Okay.
So I'm going to put this out there. We do not know
Who did this?
who did this for sure.
Oh, so like it might not even be Clementine.
Might not.
Clementine Bernadette.
We're not
Bernadette?
Barnabet.
Barnabet.
We're not going to set any records straight today, but maybe we'll inspire somebody to solve these murders. Who knows?
Dope.
So this story takes place in Cajun country, what the rest of the country would call the Acadiana parishes
Mhm.
in southeast Louisiana. Clementine Barnabet is believed to have been born around 1894, which again, like we said earlier, records are few and far between for
Right.
people of color, in St. Martinville, Louisiana.
Okay.
We don't know for sure the name of her mom because we know for sure her dad was a man named Raymond Barnabet,
My name Raymond, but
Raymond.
everybody call me Ray.
Everybody call me Ray Ray. But his live-in common law wife's name was Nina Porter, and we're not sure if that was her mom or if it was just like her stepmom. We don't really know. So I don't want to say that Nina Porter was her mom because we don't know. But for sure, her dad's name was Raymond.
Okay.
She had 3 brothers. One of them was named, get into it, Zephyrin.
Okay.
I love it.
That's off the wall.
That's one of my
I'm here
favorite
for it.
things about this podcast is all these old names.
Dude, nothing was better than Bonnie and Clyde with
know.
those names.
Bonnie,
Buck.
Buck. Did you say book?
Buck.
Oh, well, you just said Buck with an accent.
Oh, no, like B-U-C-K?
Buck.
Buck.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Barnabet's father was kind of a roustabout. He was
Girl, what? What's a roustabout?
He was kind of a drunk. He reportedly was
okay.
kind of abusive. He was
Ew.
not a straight shooter.
Boo. Boo. Can we start booing people in public?
Boo.
Let's normalize that. Just randomly just like boo all the time to people. I'm going to start doing that.
They didn't give me extra fire sauce in my Taco Bell bag.
Boo.
Actually, I love Taco Bell workers, and I will apologize to anybody handling my food, even if something is my fault.
Hey, I worked in a lot of restaurants and bartended. Don't piss off the people that are handling your food.
I
never
do.
did, and everywhere I worked, never did.
Mm-hmm. Some people
I have a
will-
lot of friends in the food industry.
It's like the movie Waiting.
and
That makes me want to vomit.
yeah, it's don't piss, and it's usually never the server's fault.
Right.
I had a woman pour a Diet Coke on me one time, and I felt like Medea. I was like, she don't know. She don't know. Like
Yeah.
I was so ooh.
Like a waitress literally could spill like hot soup in my lap, and I would apologize to her.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I am so sorry. How dare I sit here? You know, like that's one thing you taught me is don't be mean to people who handle your food. And most people don't know how to tip.
The best tips I received ever were from my mutual workers, like my mutual customer service workers that were coming in
Mm-hmm.
to eat when they were off. Because like we know how to tip.
Yeah.
Because like it's hard out there in them streets.
If you aren't going to tip, don't go out to eat.
Don't.
Cook your own food.
If you cannot afford to tip, go to McDonald's. Anyway,
Anywho,
sorry.
back to axe murder.
Period.
So, I didn't even go over my sources really quick.
Okay, hot take. Am
What?
I a bad co-host because I don't do that? I just put them in my show notes.
I mean, as long as they're documented somewhere, I think you're fine. I
Cool.
just like to verbally do it because I don't ever want to pose some of these thoughts as my own thoughts or like my own research, meaning like
Yeah.
I went through historical records and did all this work. I Googled stuff. You know what I mean?
Wikipedia,
Right.
man.
So my sources are an article in Country Roads Magazine, which highly recommend. It was a very entertaining article by Chris Turner Neal, an episode of the podcast Morbid.
Oh, I love them.
They're great. And an extensive scholarly article by the, get into it, Homicide Research Working Group.
Okay.
I would love
I
to
was about
come
to
to
say,
y'all's
what an
meetings.
awesome job.
I would love to come to y'all's symposium or whatever.
What?
So
Define, please. The hell's a symposium? That sounds like
symposium, it's like where people in education come together to like share things that they've researched.
the brand name of a fleet enema.
Symposium Fleet Enemas.
Like
Don't let the bottom
I'm thinking
fall out
about
of your
enemas.
world. Yeah. What did they say in War of the Worlds for the enema commercial? When it feels like
Oh,
the bottom's falling out of your world, the world can fall out of your bottom.
That was so.
I was
that
in
was so funny.
a production of War of the Worlds. Anyway, no one cares. So Professor Vance McLaughlin, in his work, The Strange Case of Clementine Barnabet, wrote between 1911 and 1912 in towns along the Southern Pacific Railroad line running through Louisiana and Texas, a minimum of 12 African American people were murdered in their homes.
Damn.
All the murders occurred at night. An axe was used to fracture their skulls, and only one person, Clementine Barnabet, was ever punished for any of these murders.
You better give me some good freaking evidence in here because also
Yeah, I
it's
will.
really easy to blame something on a girl of color back then.
I would
Do you get what I'm
agree with
saying?
you at first, but
So you've got evidence.
I'm pretty sure she did.
You've got things waiting in the
Yeah.
wings.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're waiting in the wings for you. That was Hamilton.
I know.
Okay. The first victims of these axe murders was Walter J. Byers, his wife, and their child. Their bodies were found February 3rd, 1911, and it would be 3 days before they were discovered in their home in Crowley, Louisiana.
Oh, we got people in Crowley.
Home of my very first college roommate, Olivia Habits.
My girl and my friend Jack Core.
Mm-hmm.
And
And-
it's 3 days though.
They were right.
Yeah, it's hot as hell.
Mhm.
That's you're living in the devil's gooch. Like, it's hot.
Does
man.
the devil have one?
Probably.
Probably. Devil, if you're listening, hopefully he subscribes. I don't care who listens as long as they
Honestly,
subscribe.
as long as you're downloading, I don't care.
Investigators thought that the perpetrator must have gained entrance to the house through a window because all the doors were locked from the inside.
All the doors have all the windows are barred. All the doors have locks.
Is that from Clue?
Duh.
No usable clues were left at the scene.
Oh, hey, but I'm done.
3 weeks later, the bodies of the Andrus family, Alexander, Meme, Joaquim, and Agnes, were found in Lafayette. For reference, Lafayette's about 30 miles away from Crowley.
Mm-hmm.
They were all found lying in bed. The axe was on the floor. 2 days later, I couldn't really find why, but 2 days later, they arrest Raymond Barnabet for these murders.
Okay, wait, pause. The axe was left on the floor?
Uh-huh.
Don't you find it a little coinky dinky that, like, my story from the last episode was right after that
So,
on a timeline?
That is
And-
something that book that I mentioned at the very beginning, The Man
Yeah.
from the Train, goes into extensively as to their theories that they think all of these murders are connected.
How did we do this week?
I don't know. I swear we did not tell each other
That's
what we were doing.
wild, bro.
It's our sibling brain.
Here he is.
So-
Get into it.
Raymond, Ray, he's arrested. This is Clementine's dad, but
Okay.
he was released a few days later for lack of evidence.
Okay.
A month later, over 400 miles west of Lafayette, the Cassaway family was murdered in San Antonio. This is relevant. Alfred and his wife Elizabeth, along with 3 children, were the victims. This is the only instance where a member of the family, which was Elizabeth, was white. Alfred was in bed with his daughter Louise sleeping at the foot of the bed, which a lot of people did back then, because most families only had like one large bed, and like the
Okay.
kids kind of slept at the foot of the bed. This episode is sponsored by the lovely Bella Cervantes with Brave Bella Bead Co. Did you know your accessories can tell a story? Brave Bella Bead Co. can help with their custom designer bracelets. Inspired by Bella's own battle with childhood cancer, Brave Bella's custom beaded bracelets can elevate any style and spread positivity. Each bracelet is crafted with love and attention to detail, featuring high-quality beads and unique charms that let you express your unique and personal style. Whether you're searching for a statement piece or a delicate accessory to wear every day, Brave Bella has something for everyone. Shopping is easy on their website, where you can browse their beautiful selection and find just what you need. Plus, keep an eye out for special promos and new arrivals to keep your accessory game fresh. Ready to find your favorite new bracelet? Visit bravebellabeadco.com and explore their incredible collection today. Love you, Bella.
Oh, ciao, Bella.
Ciao, Bella. The rest of the bodies were in an adjoining room. Elizabeth was in bed with their daughter, who was lying across her feet with their heads smashed in. And their 5-year-old son, Carlisle, was in his mother's arms.
Good name.
As in the Andrus murders, the axe was found at the scene, but nothing had been stolen. So it was very similar to the Axeman of New Orleans. Left at the scene,
That's-
nothing stolen.
Okay, and I'm assuming the Pacific Union
Railroad.
was close to this one too.
It was all along that line.
Okay, cool.
Raymond Barnabet was rearrested for that family's murder in San Antonio, and he remained in jail until his trial in October. So he was in jail for a hot minute, from July to
He was
October.
rearrested.
Rearrested. I couldn't really find why.
But what the hell is he doing in San Antonio? If he did it, I mean, you have to think back then. It wasn't like
I think it was one of those things where somebody said they saw him. I'm not sure. Again,
Probably.
like I said at the beginning, a lot of these records are spotty.
but like back then, you didn't just hop in the Edsel and
Well, you might have hopped on a train.
yeah, that's true.
right? During the trial, he did not take the stand. According to rumor, he sat very sad looking behind the defense table, muttering the words goodbye and mofutu, which means I am gone, loud enough for the jury to hear. There's
Okay.
multiple accounts of that.
Okay, but is he just realizing, like, did he do it? Or does he realize he's probably going to lose the trial?
Right.
Right? So
That's what I think.
That's what I'm thinking too.
So 2 people testified against him and were called as witnesses by the prosecution. His kids.
What?
His daughter Clementine and his son Zephyrin testified decidedly against their dad.
Against?
Yes.
Damn.
Both saying that when he came home really late at night, the night of the Andrus murders, his blue shirt was covered in blood and brain matter. And Clementine said her father bragged about killing a whole family that night and forced her to wash the blood out of his clothes and hide them, which she did, which to me, I'm like, then where are the clothes that you hid? Like, would you not say, here they are?
Yeah.
But that's just me. Zephyrin confirmed the bloody clothes story and stated that his father said that he had killed this family and that both children testified they feared for their life if their father was not put in jail.
Or is the brother fearful for his life and the little sister, older little sister?
I don't know who was older.
Well, the sister's threatening him. Because also, wear the clothes.
Right. We don't.
That's weird.
However,
Hole number 1.
there's a lot of holes. It's a spider web.
Oh.
However, 2 others testified in favor of Ray Ray.
Nice.
Dina Porter, who, as we said, was his common law wife, live-in girlfriend, and a neighbor whose family occupied the other half of the house where the Barnabet family lived. Dina denied seeing any bloody clothes or hearing a confession, but she was forced to admit that Raymond had threatened to kill her in the past, which they did. There was a history of him being abusive and an alcoholic.
Oh, I'm starting to feel way less bad for Ray Ray.
The neighbor also directly contradicted a lot of what the kids said, but nonetheless, Barnabet was found guilty and they sentenced him to hang. So they put him in jail to await his trial or his death.
Damn.
His attorneys immediately appealed the conviction. One motion they filed, which this is kind of fun, they filed that their client had been blackout drunk during his trial, claiming that he smuggled a bottle of wine into his cell and chugged it before he was taken into the courtroom, which...
My dude was off that 4 Loko. Give him one more shot.
He was like, you know what? Why not? But guess what? It worked. And they grant him a new trial. So he is taken off death row, but he's going to remain in custody because he was too poor to post bond. So he's getting a new trial, but he's still sitting in jail.
Better not drink any of that toilet wine, hooch.
That toilet wine.
Like, man.
The Bible didn't say liquor store wine.
It had to be non-alcoholic because it didn't have time
to ferment. That is from the movie Bernie, which is our literal love language movie. Highly recommend that movie if you've never seen it. However, 5 weeks after the verdict, while old Raymond was in jail, get into it.
Okay.
Can you guess what happened?
He's murdered with an axe?
Another family was murdered while he was in jail.
No. It's not Ray Ray.
Locally? In the same...
Oh, good question.
This
area?
time in Lafayette.
Okay.
So, yes.
So the distance...
So
about 400 miles,
I don't
right?
know where... Well, no, he was in jail in Louisiana.
Okay.
Like, so...
Good question,
Good
Jonah.
question, Jonah.
You're contributing,
Yeah.
man.
I'm trying.
Doing things on the front end and the back end now.
So this family, Norbert Randall, his wife Azima, and 3 of their children and their nephew were found murdered in their
Jeez.
home on November 27th. A child's bloody footprint was found by one of the beds, and it was estimated that one of the children tried to escape and was thrown back on the bed before being murdered.
That
sucks.
That is so sad.
It gets worse.
Cool.
The bodies were discovered by their 9-year-old daughter who happened to be spending the night somewhere else that night. So she comes home from a sleepover.
Good Lord.
Her hair's braided. She has, they watched Disney Channel original movies, whatever they did. And she comes home and finds this. And she's like, if I was not at my friend Susie's house,
I would have been.
Yep.
Honestly, if I came home and found mom, dad, you, and Michael murdered, I probably would have rather just died.
Yeah.
Not to be morbid, but.
Today's episode is sponsored by Jeff Leschashire, founder and managing attorney for Fleur de Lis Law and Title. Jeff is an estate planning and real estate attorney with 20 years experience and literally tens of thousands of clients served. Fleur de Lis Law and Title offers client-specific and tailored services at affordable prices. I can attest to this because I just bought a house and now I'm poor. They want to become your attorney for life and help formulate your estate plan that fits your life now and in the future. They want to be there for you and your family, whether you're purchasing your first home, that's me, having your first tiny human, or preparing to retire. Fleur de Lis Law and Title will be there in every stage of life. You can find them online at fdltitle.com or stop in and visit one of their convenient 7 locations across Southeast Louisiana. You can also check them out on TikTok and Instagram, where they give daily free advice on estate planning and real estate. Thank you to our friends at Fleur de Lis Law and Title. Quite literally, I would not have a house if it wasn't for you. Appreciate you. We have now come to the portion of the show called Stop Embarrassing Yourself. You're pronouncing that wrong. Caleb, what is today's word of the day?
The word of the day, this one gets under my skin.
Ooh.
It's pecan versus pecan.
Or peckin'.
Girl, what? I ain't never heard one.
It's just another way to.
I ain't never heard someone say pecan.
You got that peckin' pie?
Oh, my Lord. But pecan, that's a can of peas.
Or a pecan is a porta potty.
Never thought about that.
Pecan. If I open a porta potty company, I'm calling it pecans.
That's a good one.
I'm sure that exists.
Probably. But it's pecan.
Pecan.
Don't say pecan in front of me. I will make fun
of you.
God,
when you said pecan, my stomach audibly growled. I wonder if you can hear that on the mic.
I didn't, but I'm also deaf, so.
I felt it on the chair. I'm pretty sure the mic picked it up.
Nice.
Maybe not. But so the word of the day is pecan, not pecan. Get it right or we hate you.
If you say pecan, boo.
Boo. Now, back to your regularly scheduled program.
Damn.
You drink that hooch toilet wine and just call it a day.
Period.
This was also very interesting. This would be the only case where a victim was also shot. So Norbert had a bullet in his brain that entered through his forehead, and then it looked like the axe had cut through the mosquito netting covering his bed, which this is my theory. If I'm one person and I'm trying to attack the family.
I was going to say it earlier. That's a lot of people to kill if you're one person.
I'm thinking to myself, I need to get rid of the strongest person first.
Oh, so boom.
Shoot the dad.
Shoot the dad over. Done.
Yes.
Damn.
But that's just a theory.
Man.
And the one difference between this murder and the Andrus murders was that the Andruses had been killed with the sharp edge of the axe, while the Randalls had been killed with the blunt side.
That's why their skulls were crushed. Ew.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'd rather as a victim.
Neither. But, okay, so shortly after the bodies of the Randall family were discovered, remember, Ray Ray's still in jail. Police fan out and start to look for clues immediately. Luckily, they were found within hours of being killed because their daughter came home. So the police had some things to go off of. They weren't like days afterwards, right? Blood was found on the garden gate of the nearby Guidry house, which was a block away, where can you guess who was living there as a housekeeper?
No.
Clementine.
Okay.
Makes this whole story is about.
Well, I'm trying to connect a lot of dots in my head right now. There's a lot of names going.
My darling Clementine, which I thought that song was about her. It's not. Authorities search the house, and in Clementine's room, they find her apron, her dress, and her undergarments with blood all over them. And it was thought that her clothes would have traces of the Randall family on them. They sent it to the New Orleans state chemist.
Okay.
Dr. Metz. I bet he was a very interesting person. And he would declare that the blood and the brains on the pillowcases matched the blood and the brains on her clothes.
Whoa.
I don't know how they did that.
I was about to say, I didn't even know they could do that back in the gap.
But a man of science said this is the same thing.
That's crazy.
So they arrest her and a couple of other men of color who also worked at the house. Because again, it's very racially motivated. Even if she did do this, they arrested every person of color that worked in this house because these
Because basically, why not?
right. But Clementine vehemently denied all of the charges. I like the word vehemently. But the authorities believe that she did this and the other murders because it's just because her dad was a suspect. So it's like, it makes sense that maybe she was the one that really did it. If her dad was one of our original suspects and we find blood on her clothes,
Okay.
maybe she really did the first few murders and tried to pin it on her dad.
Okay.
Then, on January 19th, 1912, while Clementine was in jail, get into it.
Another one?
The corpses of Marie Warner and her 3 children were found in Crowley, murdered with, you guessed it, an axe.
Damn, man.
Despite his alibi, police arrested Zephyrin Barnabet, her brother, assuming he was carrying out his father and or his sister's wishes while they were in jail.
What they gonna do when they run out of freaking Barnabets?
Right.
Like,
it's a very good question.
because don't get me wrong. I do at thus far think it is her,
Mm-hmm.
but like, we're running out of Barnabets here.
And she can't be in 2 places at once.
No. Okay.
It gets more complicated.
Great.
That very same night, which I love this name, Felix Broussard. That's the most Cajun name I've ever heard. Felix Broussard, his 3 children, and his wife Matilda were killed in Lake Charles with an axe. This is where the story gets spooky and where I believe the media latched on and didn't let go. Because when you look at newspaper stories about all this, once word got out that Clementine had been arrested, the words that they use and the language that they use is very racist, like in these newspaper articles, which of course, shocker. But this, when the media gets word of this next few details, it's like sensational.
Okay.
At this murder scene of Felix and his wife Matilda, someone had written a Bible verse on the wall in pencil.
Oh, this is some American Horror Story stuff.
Uh-huh. Which was Psalms 9:12. So, church, I'd like you to get out your Bibles and turn to Psalms 9:12.
Okay.
Which reads, it gives me chills. When he maketh inquisition for blood, he remembereth them. He forgetteth not the cry of the humble.
Girl, what?
So that's the King James Version, which a lot of people translate that as to saying like God remembers the forsaken.
Okay.
Like when someone dies in the name of the Lord, like when God vanquishes our enemies, he's remembering the cries of the defeated people.
Okay. Gotcha.
Someone also had written the words human and the number 5 in pencil behind the door, which a lot of people think it was like a tally, like a count, because 5 people were killed in that house that night. So some people think they were like tallying like humans, 5. We killed 5.
Ew.
I told you, I cannot believe I had never heard of this story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this is a lot. A lot.
So on April 1st, 1912, while in the Lafayette jail, Clementine flips the script and she says,
"She flips a table."
She probably did flip a table because she did some crazy stuff.
Okay.
She confesses to killing 17 people. This included 4 members of the Randall family, 4 from the Andrus family, a family of 5 in Rain, and another family of 4 in Crowley. She claimed to lead a sect called the Church of the Sacrifice, which I'm like, come up with a more creative name. The Church of the Sacrifice is like quite literal. Like you could have come up with something more spooky-ooky.
Right. Like make me think about it. Make my brain work.
Workshop it. Get to your
get the gist.
Get to your marketing department.
Come back.
Let's throw some names around. Which was an offshoot of a local holiness church, but also had mixing in some hoodoo and voodoo practices. So of course,
hoodoo.
Once this gets out, the media runs wild because they're like, now voodoo's involved. And, it's a religion that has ties to Africa. This is bad. You know what I mean? Like,
which let the record show, voodoo is actually
very different from hoodoo.
Derived from the Roman Catholic Church.
Correct.
But hoodoo is the bad stuff.
So she claimed her gang, whatever you want to call it, her cult. From the Church of the Sacrifice, was made up of 2 other women and 2 other men. She said this is how it went down. When they were in rain, they couldn't decide who was going to do the killing, so they drew straws. And she ended up being the one that got the short straw, so she had to do it. After taking out the 2 adults, she says, and quote, "It was easy to get rid of the 2 small children. We thought it was better to kill them than to leave them as orphans, as they would have suffered." And as for the Andrus family...
Thank you for your service.
Thank you so much for smashing my face in, because I never would have...
How old are these people?
They're like... So when she testified against her dad, all it says was that she was a teenager. So I don't know if that means she's 14.
Read a book. Sneak out and get drunk like a normal teenager.
Yeah, like literally do anything else with your time. So she's either like a teenager or like in her 20s. I don't know what they mean by teenager. It could be 14. It could be 18. I don't know. Then she explains, "We took the man and the woman, made them kneel beside the bed, killed them, and then left the house. The next day, I was one of the first to help their relatives and to prepare their bodies for the funeral."
That's twisted.
Mm-hmm.
That's gross. Boo.
Boo. The Church of Sacrifice name, boo.
Yeah,
Get more
sucks.
creative. When asked if there was any reason as to why they chose certain families, she replied, "No, we didn't pick them out specifically. We started without knowing who the victims would be." Which I'm already like...
This cult is ran by a teenager.
Yeah, this cult is like, we're going off vibes.
Yeah.
So in October, while facing a judge and jury, so in the courtroom, she shares her unbelievable story. So the newspapers are like reporting everything
Rita
she
Skeeter.
says. Rita Skeeter with her magic pen that's actually a great Halloween costume idea. I call it.
That is.
Okay, where was I at? So she claimed that she and her friends bought hoodoo charms in New Iberia that would allow them to do whatever they wanted without consequences. So to test this out, they killed a family in rain and they got away with it, which goes back to your other point. Literally do anything else.
Anything else.
Like go rob a bank. You know what I mean? Like
go skinny dipping. Go do whatever these angsty little like
it's not a phase, Mom.
Yeah, like go do something.
The Church of the Sacrifice is not a phase, Dad. So you didn't get away
with
it.
Away?
So the details about who was involved and why kept changing. She could not keep her story straight when it came to like her accomplices, all that, which a lot of people that she tried to implicate had solid alibis.
Okay.
And so like, for instance, if she was like, "Oh, Caleb was with me," and they come back and they're like, "Well, Caleb was actually 2 states away." She's like, "Oh, well, I didn't mean Caleb. I meant Jonah." Like she would like change her story.
She was like, "Did I say that?
I meant
this."
Right.
Ew.
She brought up voodoo rituals and even some twisted motives related to sexual perversion. In total, though, she confessed to 17 murders, and throughout her trial, she insistently maintained her guilt, stating, "I am the woman of the sacrifice sect. I killed them all, men, women, and babies, and I hugged the dead bodies to my heart." That is a quote. You have a question? Jonah has his hand raised.
Yes. Meanwhile, Ray Ray's still in jail?
Oh,
I believe so,
Good
yes.
question. I forgot about Ray Ray.
And so...
Because I think
my
at
brain,
this
like,
point, they believe that they could be in cahoots.
That's what I'm thinking. Like,
Yeah.
Or is Clementine like so invested maybe in her father's ideologies?
Right. That's a
And
good
she's
point.
like, she's carrying on the
That's a great
the
point.
baton or something.
Is he a
Like,
member of the,
right
of the
like,
cult?
Is he so invested, or she is so invested on what
That's
her
a
dad
great
did?
point.
Like,
Oh.
so he's potentially in jail still.
I never
Yeah. Or
found
somewhere.
evidence to the contrary that he was out.
Okay.
Because
if they're trying her for what he's in jail for,
right.
he's got to be out. I say we assume he's out. Yeah.
Right. Or at least they're watching him close if he is out. Like he's not
Yeah.
just doing whatever he wants.
Good question.
Very
Jonah.
good question. So again, the newspaper coverage of her case was very sensationalized. One article from the El Paso Herald was especially extreme and filled with bias, spreading a lot of misconceptions specifically about voodoo, which
Ugh.
Clementine mentioned in her very confusing confession as like
Mhm.
the main motive.
Which that really does make me mad because even to this day,
Right.
a lot of people, which I got particularly pissed off the other day because I was watching Gypsy Sisters on TLC. I love trash TV. And there's an episode where they go to New Orleans and there was a statue that looked like Jack the Skellington. It was like 8 feet tall. And
First
they
of
were
all-
like, this is a voodoo doll. There's a devil. Get him out. And I was like, you stupid
This is dark-sided.
Kentucky little people. Like,
First of all, it's Jack Skellington.
what did I say?
Jack the Skellington.
Whatever.
Same
diff.
I can't not. Sorry.
But I just can't stand when like people, especially it particularly makes me mad when you're not from here
and you're ignorant
and you're
about it.
talking on a subject that you're personifying so much so much ignorance about.
This is dark-sided stuff.
Literally. Like
Yeah.
it's not a voodoo doll. Heffa.
Right. It's
Like,
a
no.
Halloween decoration from Costco.
Literally.
Yeah.
Like, anyway, sorry.
It's okay. No, I agree with you because a lot of the articles at this time were very similar to that because it's, of course, shedding all kinds of negative light on any religion that's not based in what white people are observing.
Correct.
So it's automatically painting anything that a person of color practices as bad.
Yes.
And it's not. So I just want to make sure that I get that out there that a lot of the media that you might look up about this is wildly racist.
Yeah.
Whether she did it or not, right?
Right.
Her attorney, though, argued. So some people are like, well, if she didn't do it, explain the bloody clothes that were
Yeah.
found in her room. Like that was brought
Okay.
up at trial. So her attorney argued that the blood on her clothes was a result of the police mishandling evidence, suggesting that the blood from the crime scene somehow got transferred to her clothes from their clothes. I don't buy that. But also, without any clear explanation, they also posited that the blood could have been from her menstrual cycle.
Okay, I was literally about to say, like, not to be gross, but that's a much better route to take than,
Right.
like,
Given how old she was and her build, she might not have fully understood what was going on in her body yet. And she, like,
Okay.
hid her clothes.
so sis was younger then. I'm thinking on
Yeah.
the teenage scale.
Like
it's
14,
getting younger.
15.
Yeah.
But despite her attorney's objections, she wanted her confession entered into the trial record. Because when she went on to that outburst and was like, I am the blah, 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 they were like, hey, shut up. And she
Yeah.
was like, no, I want that on record. I want that on record. It is my right. I want y'all to know that I am the queen of the church of the blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
So
Sure.
she also felt, she said this, that if she was to be executed, get into it, an angel in a chariot of fire would save her life before she was executed. Spoiler alert, didn't happen.
I told you so. Like, damn.
So she was
Oh.
convicted of killing all the Randall family and sentenced to life in prison on October 25th, 1912. So
Okay.
what happened to her? 9 years later, an article about the Louisiana State Penitentiary mentions Clementine briefly. Medical experts who examined her labeled her as a, quote, pervert, end quote,
Oh,
which, again, back then could have meant a lot of different things.
yeah,
like
like, get better
they
word usage.
they could label a woman who's just sexually active as a pervert. Like
100%.
we don't
Very
know what
not body positive back then.
No, we don't know what that means. So after being sentenced to life in prison, she was taken to Baton Rouge for another evaluation, and their prison surgeons performed an operation that reportedly restored her to, quote, normal condition.
Can I guess?
You think it was a lobotomy?
100%. Oh, yeah.
So
Oh,
from what I could find,
Hmm.
though, it's very unsure what specifics as to the procedure because lobotomies didn't start happening in the U.S. that we have record of until about a decade later. So it could have been a lobotomy.
if I was workshopping something as a surgeon,
right.
I would start.
You're
in the
like, why
prisons,
not
though.
start with?
that's-
if we were
Hey, boys, let's just try this out right quick.
Literally.
hear me out, ice pick, right?
Oh my gosh.
This
Oh,
is terrible. But so again, we don't know, but there was record that they're like, she was unruly, she was perverted. We did this procedure on her. Now she's fine. She's chill. which if
Oh,
I'm with you,
Lord.
I would guess it was a lobotomy, but there's
Yeah.
no, which recorded lobotomies, they've been
They
going
would do
on.
lobotomies on people for like, hey, do you have the sniffles? Hey, are
Right.
you crazy?
Hey,
Hey, are you gay?
do you hate
Like
your husband?
anything.
Right.
Right. Lobotomy.
Right.
Like, ugh.
So eventually she was discharged 10 years later after being sentenced. On April
Wait.
28th, 1923, they let her out.
Released.
Oh, yeah, out of
Not
prison.
just okay, so I was thinking hospital.
And guess what? No one knew where she went. No records of where she went. We have no clue where
Wait,
she
what
is.
year was she released?
1923. She's not still alive, I would assume.
No, I was just
But
the axe murders from my story were around they ended. Well, I think there was the last one was 1923, but
so did
That's
she
wild.
did she do it? True crimes, like all of us, know that first, false confessions happen all the time.
yeah.
And most of what we know about Clementine comes from this really horrible chapter in her teenage years of life. So we have no idea if she was mentally ill, she was
Mhm.
anxious, perhaps she was an alcoholic, perhaps she was addicted to something. It's hard to say why she confessed to something she didn't do if that's what happened.
Right.
Because that does happen. People confess to things that they
my
did
God,
not
yeah.
do all the time.
Yeah.
But Bill and Rachel McCarthy James, the authors from that book, The Man from the Train, which that is literally sitting in my Audible on deck
Like
right
ready
now.
to go.
They have a great opinion about this.
Okay.
That if authorities really thought she was guilty, they would not have let her go after just 10 years, which would have put her in her late 20s at the time of her release, which she would have still been young enough technically to commit many more crimes if she really wanted to.
100%.
So it wasn't like they were letting her out as an elderly person.
No.
An additional
Her
argument.
joints are still supple.
Oh, her knees aren't cracking yet.
Yeah.
An additional argument for her innocence is that no black serial axe murderess, that's a lot of words, born in about 1895 ever turned up anywhere else in the country after her release. If she is guilty, she must have, one, died young,
Okay.
or,
Which I'm sure we have no record of.
right, or got really good at covering her tracks,
Okay.
or she just got it out of her system.
Lobotomy.
It's a phase, Mom.
Oh my gosh.
Which, like, we all went through phases as a teenager. Like, I pretended to like skateboarding and wear Converse. You know what I mean? But like
Yeah.
murdering people with an axe.
I had Justin Bieber hair.
You look much better with your hair pushed.
That was-
You look better with your hair pushed back. What's
Yeah.
that from? Mean Girls?
I think so.
So if we rule her out, who killed all these people?
The Axeman of New Orleans.
We don't. That's a theory that is in this book, that is
Okay.
posited in this book, which I wish this book was only about Louisiana, because I would love to interview these people, which maybe they will talk about it.
Yeah.
So Chris Turner Neal, in his article for Country Roads magazine, I think he said it best. No one knows what happened to Clementine Barnabet. Like a good legend, she vanishes from the record after her release from prison. Like anyone with any sense would have, she certainly changed her name, an easy feat in these pre-Social Security number days.
Uh-huh.
If she was indeed innocent, one hopes that she led a happy life, perhaps winning an occasional argument by quietly smirking and saying, "Now don't push me. You know what they said I did."
Honestly, work.
And that's the story of Clementine Barnabet.
No. Nice.
That was
Nice.
good, right?
That was
I had never heard of her.
me either. That's crazy.
And it's
That's
like,
wild.
it's one of those things where as I was researching it, you thought it was going to go one way,
Yeah.
and then it went somewhere else. And then out of nowhere, I was fully expecting them to be like, she actually didn't do it. And we have all this evidence to say that she didn't. But then she's like, I am the queen of the Church of Sacrifice, and I did do it. And it's like, bro, boo, chill out.
Boo.
Boo.
Man. That was a goodie.
Thank you.
That was good.
It was really interesting. I would love for this to be a show.
Ryan Murphy, if you're listening.
Ryan Murphy, American Horror Story. Your next show is Clementine Barnabet in New Orleans. I can't play her, but I can probably let me play the court reporter who's like type in everything
Yeah.
she says, and I
Chain
have a
smoking
cigarette.
cigarettes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, Jonah.
Well, you've always wanted to smoke cigarettes.
And then I
Oh,
get
yeah.
to work a typewriter too. It's like
She got to smoke cigarettes in that production of War of the Worlds, and she was into it.
I was good at it too.
Period.
But I will say the fake cigarettes that they gave us to smoke taste like butt.
Well, real cigarettes don't taste great either.
Well,
so.
but it was like licking baby powder because it was like water
it's
vapor.
like dust, right? It's like
So you like
Oh.
poofed out like powder to make it look like smoke. It was
Ew.
disgusting.
Ew.
It looked real. It was
It
I
did.
would
It
have
did.
rather smoked a real cigarette because it would have probably tasted better.
Ugh.
But that's how
Gross.
they make the magic happen on stage because you can't smoke in the theater because of fires and such.
Man,
Oh yeah, I practiced. I like went home and practiced in my mirror how I was going to do it.
it was nice. It was a cool little production.
It was
cool.
fun. Columbia Theater, I love you.
Period.
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay. Clementine,
Mhm.
she said something that the cops, well, the whole thing with the cops is weird to me. And
Okay.
so these were predominantly black offenses.
It was everyone who was murdered except for one
One.
person.
One person.
was African American.
Okay.
Yes.
And it was all
So-
families.
For all families. So part of me, like during that time, it's almost like the whole cop thing, the whole system seems weird to me.
Mhm.
That they let her go. It's almost like they're somewhat covering it up, somewhat okay with it. In a sense,
Yeah,
like they're
like-
just
Yeah.
like, oh well,
Who cares?
yeah,
Yeah.
like it just
Yep.
like it
'Cause
was
at
like
that time it was second class citizens.
right, like we have to make it look bad at the start, but like
Yeah.
we'll just kind of just scurry it off
Mhm.
later.
Right.
I don't know. It just
We'll
seems
do
kind of
some
weird to me.
experiments on her, and then when we're done
Right.
with her, we'll just let her
Yes.
go.
Oh,
Right,
that's-
like they almost use it as an opportunity in a sense or something. Like I don't know.
That's a
It just
good
seems
point.
it seems very weird to me.
It's a good point.
Damn.
Have you ever looked at someone's head and thought, that noggin would look a whole lot better with a custom hat on it? I have. Or maybe you're looking in the mirror and thinking, I would be the talk of the town if I just had a custom hat on top of my dome. Well, Three Magnolias is here to make your wildest hat dreams come true.
Nice.
Imagine this. You're at a party, maybe a birthday, a tailgate, or even a bachelorette extravaganza. I've been to a couple of those. Suddenly, Three Magnolias rolls in with their traveling custom hat bar, and the crowd goes wild. They set up shop anywhere in Louisiana and most of Mississippi, bringing all the hat styling accessories you could ever want. They'll size you up. I've got a big noggin, so mine would be very
Same.
large. They let you choose from a variety of styles and colors and help you create a one-of-a-kind hat that reflects your personality. Whether you want them to match a specific outfit or just make you stand out in the crowd, they've got you covered. But wait, there's more.
Ooh.
Three Magnolias even offers on-site branding so you can represent your business or personalize your hat with initials. That's cool.
Mm.
Plus, the host of the party gets a special discount on their hat because why should only the guests have all the fun? If you can't make it to the party, no problem. You can still get in on that hat action, that sweet, sweet hat action with their virtual hat bar. It's like online shopping, but with a hat on top of it. So if you're ready to take your hat game to the next level, follow Three Magnolias on Instagram and Facebook. Just search Three Magnolias & Co. and shoot them a DM to book your party or place a custom order. Just search Three Magnolias, shoot them a DM to book your party or place a custom order. Three Magnolias & Co. Hat Company. Turning heads one hat at a time. This episode is brought to you by the fine folks at Revival Art House. Life is short. Buy the art. Discover the magic of local art at Revival Art House in Ponchatoula, Louisiana. Step into the vibrant purple building and explore a diverse collection of art from over 250 local artists in a 5,000 square foot space. Don't miss this opportunity to bring a piece of local magic into your home, which I have several pieces from Revival Art House
Yep. So do mom and dad.
in my house. My favorite being a sketch of Pontchartrain Beach that was done by Dana Bro. It is currently
Aw.
framed and hanging in my living room.
Aw.
Thanks, Dana. Visit revivalarthouse.com or search Revival Art House on Instagram and Facebook and stop by and shop today. Thank you to the art angels at Revival Art House. Yeah, and it's like, I do think she was mentally ill, and I think
Yeah.
they took advantage of the situation.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
They used it.
Because you're right. Why, if she was so violent and crazy, why would they let her go when she was in her 20s?
Right.
Like, if anything, that's like, you let somebody go when they're 90 and they can't do anything anymore.
Exactly.
But yeah, I wish there was more historical records on this, because I would love to dive into, if this was actually real, the Church of the Sacrifice. Because if this was a real place and she didn't make this up, I would love to learn more about it. But that was also what a lot of that scholarly article got into, like the Homicide Research Working Group that was a huge part of it, was because it was Black people that were killed, and like the police work wasn't great.
Right. It was just, it's like sloppy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Man, you Google the Church of the Sacrifice, and it's all Clementine Barnabet everywhere.
Yeah. So that's
Parish of the Holy Sacrifice.
which I think,
Are they meaning parish like Louisiana place, or parish like
or like a church
PAR?
parish.
PAR? So that's like Louisiana parish.
Yeah, area.
This
Yeah,
should
because
be
County.
parish is
PER, yeah.
Okay.
this should be a mini series.
Honestly, Ryan Murphy, you better get to work.
Mhm. Yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed this one.
That was good.
Thank you. Jonah, thanks for joining us on this one.
Yeah.
I like it. I like the tripod.
I do. It is fun. I like it.
Mm-hmm. And it also makes me feel good, because sometimes I think we try to say funny stuff and we're like, God, I hope this is funny. And if Jonah laughs, we're like, okay,
Right.
we're good.
God, I hope this lands.
God, I hope it works. Well, thank y'all for listening. Got some thank yous. Got a lot. Sweet Baton Rouge, we love you. Thank you for the shirts. Love your print.
Mhm.
3 Magnolias & Co. Custom Hat Bar. Fleur-de-lis Law and Title. 22 Aesthetics, which I'm coming to see y'all so I don't look like an alligator the next time you see me. I'm going to get some
I need to get
some talks.
This is what I'm doing.
Revival Art House. Thank you for making my home look pretty. And Brave Bella Bead Company. Love y'all. Thank y'all for supporting the pod. It's super cool to work with groups too that are brands that we actually support and have spent money with.
Oh, yeah.
Like all of those I just read out, I have spent money with.
Same.
So it's like, that's super cool and we love it. And if you have a story you want to share, or
Email us.
just want to love on us a little bit, or if you have your own spooky ooky story, Jonah, go home and ask the fam if they've got
My
any.
old gal.
Yeah.
She loves the show, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
She loves it. And a bunch of her
Thanks.
little other friends love the show as
I
well.
love that.
Yeah.
Oh my
I'm going to
gosh.
have her do something, because she's into this whole thing.
Thank you so much.
So
Oh, hell yeah.
We'll,
Please
I'm sure
keep
she's got
listening.
something to say.
Yeah, let us
Nice.
know. Email us at thebigbadboot@gmail.com.
Yes. Or you can DM us too. We're always checking our
Mhm.
socials.
We're always on the socials. But in any case, that was fun. Remember, God made you.
And the Rougarou too.
So be kind to one another.
Bye.
Bye. Jonah, you have to say bye.
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 The Big Bad Boot is produced by Lettuce Media and edited by Mallory and Jonah.
Our music was produced by Macro Tracks. Our super cool logo was designed by AWC Graphics. And our sense of humor and childhood trauma was sponsored by Kelly and Abby Morse.